Namaste and welcome to Alpha Mind Powers channel. Today's topic is about fear, a vague kind of fear. Many people seem to be having this problem today. Maybe it's a small problem for some or a bigger problem for others, but I've been coming across a lot of people expressing this feeling that they have a fear in their mind. So I thought I'll talk about it today with two examples. Sometime back there was a young man who wanted counseling, online counseling, and he was doing his first year college, and he had got the college which he wanted, the line of study which he wanted, everything was going well. But he said he has some kind of fear in his mind. When I asked him what is the kind of fear you have, he was not able to answer. He said there's some fear, it is just bugging me so much, I'm not able to be myself. Then as I spoke to him, it just came out that his fear was about the future. He said, I'm afraid about the future. Then I asked him, why are you afraid about the future? Then he said, no, I don't know whether I'll finish my college properly. I don't know whether I'll get my degree properly, and then whether I'll get a job and whether I'll be able to do well. He kept on talking like that. So that fear was about the future. Then I explained to him how to handle it and gave him therapies and all that, and he was okay. The second example is about a lady who was about 35 years old, and she had a daughter who was around 10 years old. So she also said, I have a huge fear in my mind. Sometimes it gives me palpitations. I asked her what kind of fear. She said, I don't know. I just have a fear about the future. That's it. So what is the fear about? When you say just fear about the future, what is it about? Then slowly as I spoke to her, she started talking, and then she said, my daughter is only 10 years old and my husband is always busy. So if something happens to me, what will happen to my daughter? Who will take care of her? How will she manage everything? How will she be able to do everything for herself? It went on like that. So her fear was also not, there was no reason for that fear, because so many people have children and children grow up and then they go and study abroad or anywhere, then they get married, they settle down, they work. It's all going on. Somewhere, sometimes something goes wrong. We keep hearing about it. We keep either hearing about it from relatives or friends, or then of course the news is there, news channels, so much you hear about an accident where parents died and the child was left alone. So many inputs are there. That is definitely there, but that doesn't mean we need to just absorb it like that and become afraid about the future. So I explained to her also, gave her some therapies, and she was also okay. So there are a lot of people who have such fears in their mind, but they may not go for counseling, but they live with the fear. That's the whole point. So that is why I thought I'll talk about this. And when it comes to fear like this, it's a kind of vague kind of fear. Sometimes there's nothing specific also. It's very vague, but it is there. So in such cases, what is it that you can do for yourself and help yourself to come out of it? I'll give you just 5 points, see whether you can use them. So let's begin. Point number 1. Think about the past. You have crossed so many years in your life and now you're in the present. So if it is that young boy, then he is about 18 years, at least above 18. So many years he would have also met with some small failures. He would have also met with some challenges in life. He would have met with some disappointments in life. So many things would have happened, and he would have also seen others facing problems in life, overcoming them, everything. So when you look at your own life and you look at all the difficult times, see, the happy times may be there, but that's not going to help us much here. Look at the difficult times, what you have overcome or what you have crossed through, what you have come through. And when you look at that, you know that you're still surviving. After all that, you're still here. So once you look at it like that, you know that no matter what happens, you will still come out of it, you will still survive. So when you look at it like that, it can help you to understand that the human mind is made with a lot of resilience and you can manage any kind of situation. So that gives you the confidence to face anything in life. So that will remove the fear to some extent. Then comes point number 2. This is about your thoughts. Thoughts create your reality. We keep hearing about that again and again. But if you allow negative thoughts to occupy your mind all the time, like this young boy said, I may not finish my college studies, my degree, and if I finish my degree, I may not get a good job or I may not perform well. Instead of thinking like that, he can even start thinking, I am completing my degree properly with very good marks. I am getting an excellent job. I'm doing very well in my career. That will give a lot of confidence. Just like the negative thoughts make you so depressed and so fearful, the positive thoughts can definitely bring you out of it. But if you look at it, even if you try to tell yourself something positive, I really don't know whether it gives that much energy, not as much as the negative thoughts. Negative thoughts create a big fear in the mind. That is why we need to counter them continuously with positive thoughts. And for this lady also I said, see, you can have better thoughts about your children, about your child and your family. Tell yourself that you are absolutely healthy. You will always be there for your child. Your child is well taken care of. She grows up to be a very good human being. These kind of thoughts will make you look at the future with more confidence and with more optimism than fear. So that way, thoughts are very important. Thoughts can create things in your life. So make sure that your thoughts are always positive, particularly about the future. Point number 3, mentally prepare yourself by saying that even if the worst thing happens, some people have this habit of, always saying the worst case scenario. I do not recommend it, but at the same time, when you already have a fear, you can also look at it and say, worst case scenario, what can go wrong? What can happen? And mentally prepare yourself. Even if something like this happens, I will still get through it. I will still manage it like this. So when you start looking at it like that, what is the worst thing that can happen in this situation? Then your mind becomes stronger because you know that beyond this, nothing can happen. So that way, when you look at situations, you can have a plan. Even if this happens, I can manage it like this. You can have plan A, you can have plan B also. So when you start preparing yourself to face anything in life, then there is no fear at all because you are completely well empowered and armed. So that is point number 3. Think of what can go wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no harm also. But thinking of what can go wrong should not create fear. It should create that confidence to handle it. That is there. Then point number 4, which is very, very important. After having analyzed your life, after having looked back at your life, and then after having handled your thoughts also, now think about what you want for the future. Take your mind to the future and say, okay, now my situation is like this, my past was like this, okay. Now I would like to achieve this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whether it is career or your personal life or your appearance, you want to lose weight, whatever it may be, create clear goals. That helps a lot. Instead of having vague fears, it helps a lot if you have clear, specific goals towards which you can move. So create those goals. Maybe you can write them down somewhere, which will help you even more. That's a very good practice. So do that also, and you will feel very happy when you do that. And the 5th point, last but not least, which I always bring up, is meditate. Meditation helps you to look at things even more clearly, and when you meditate, whatever goals you already have specified or you have already fixed in your mind, take those goals one by one and visualize that each goal is manifesting. If you start working like this, then there is no fear about the future. Instead of the fear, you have the planning about the future. You plan your future, you execute whatever you want, you create the kind of life that you want, and that's how it should be. So instead of fear, let your mind be filled with confidence, let your mind be filled with optimism, let your mind be filled with planning and execution instead of being afraid of the unknown. That is a better way to live. So definitely I've given you very simple 5 points. I'm sure anybody can follow them. Try them out. There's no harm at all. Try and see how you feel after that, and do let me know. That will be very good.